that are, you know, you can take the movie however you want, whatever you think. I'm just in a bad mood.
Oh.
I just thought maybe, you know, because I'm usually in a good mood doing this. Today I'm in a bad mood doing this. How's it look? You getting all this?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I have it.
Okay. Okay.
What are you doing?
I'm suffering for my art.
Oh, sorry.
You don't have to be sorry, but I appreciate the sentiment. Ugh. Okay. I let these soak in very hot water, and you know they've been soaking for about a half an hour, and they're just coming off really slowly, and they seem to be stuck. I think Gordon's has put extra strong adhesive on the back of their labels or something.
Yeah.
So
that could be it.
So I'm just, you know, like I said, today I'm suffering for my art. Because I'm just in a bad mood because, you know, the more I read about the biographies of artists who are actually recognized, artists who make a career from their art, the more the more I realize that every single successful artist has a very supportive family behind them. You know, and I've never had a supportive family that's ever been supportive of anything that I've done. You know, because basically, you know, I was a surplus child. I was, you know, the third of five.
You're not the only surplus child. I think I was the only unwanted one.
Well, you know, and I know it may be hard to say, well, if you're the third of five, you can't really call yourself a surplus child because obviously your parents had two more kids. But the thing is, my father wanted to divorce my mother before I was born. But, you know, she didn't want a divorce, and through whatever methods, I still am not clear on their history because they were both such dysfunctional people, and you know they were born in the 20s and they came of age during World War II, you know, and then they started a family like right after, well, like in the 1950s. My two older brothers were born in the early to mid 50s, and I was born at the very end of the 50s. And you know, my mom just wanted to keep having kids, wanted to keep being a housewife, and she just was not prepared for the realities of being married to a man who might not be in love with her anymore and might not want to be her husband anymore. You know, and he met a woman who, you know, at some point in the 1950s, he met a woman who was more independent. She had her own business. She was a beautician. And I don't know, somehow they met up. And he had a child with her right at the same time my mother was having me. And, you know, basically after that, I only knew my parents through their marriage just disintegrating and falling apart day by day, week by week, month by month, year by year. And my mother just kept denying, you know, that she would have a husband that didn't want to be married to her anymore. And, you know, because of all of this, you know, there was and my mom kept having kids, basically because she thought that would keep my dad from leaving. And I use the term "my dad" loosely. I never had a father. I mean, he was never there. He was certainly never a father to me.
Mm-hmm.
And my stupid basket case of a mother. The reason she kept having kids is because she kept having boys, and me and my younger brother were supposed to be the daughter she always wanted, and then the fifth child was her daughter, my younger sister, and by that time, my parents had divorced. I guess my dad figured out some way to get a divorce even if she didn't want one. I guess he got a lawyer or something. Mm-hmm. And they divorced, and then he married his girlfriend and became a father to her son, who was his son also. And they moved to Florida, and then that just left us behind. And, like I said, my mother just became more and more of an emotional basket case. She became a religious fanatic to compensate, for this awful marriage that just fell apart. But instead of becoming strong or becoming truthful and sort of face, she basically was basically one of these suburban women who just wanted everything to fall into place because she was fashionable. And that's, there are a lot of stupid women who just go through life thinking, well, everything I want should be what I want because, I'm fashionable and I'm fashionable looking and fashionable acting. And that was my mother, and she was, and I read the biographies of artists, visual artists, and they always, the ones that have a body of work, the ones that have documentation, the ones that have a career, that pays their damn bills, they always have, it's like, oh, well, I learned photography from my father, or, my mother wrote up articles about my projects in the local paper, my parents knew a lawyer who helped me with some legal, issues. My mother was an accountant, and she set up my business model for my visual art business. And it's just that I just see this over and over and over again. And I left. Basically, I stayed at home and did everything I was supposed to do, and I stayed in school, and I went to this horrible fucking high school where everybody was, I don't know what the word, sort of like aggressively competitive and superficial and materialistic, and basically, anybody who was a visual artist was more or less looked down on. Okay.
Are you done with
no,
that?
well, I'm almost done. I'm beginning to feel a little bit better. I appreciate you making a film of this, of me working my fucking butt off and suffering for my art. And, this is doing the real work.
Oh,
and someone, at least I've got you. I've got somebody who can document, some of this. And that's all I have. I don't have, any family members who are, in any way supportive. They, every single one of us, we've all, we all got out as soon as we could. As soon as we, I went to college for as long as my financial aid would last, and then it ran out, and I was basically stuck.
Yeah.
Because, I didn't have, a lawyer or an accountant or a business person as any member of my family. Everything was just like, well, you're just supposed to do what everybody at school says. You're supposed to do what, she was, that's what I'm stuck with. That's the background I'm stuck with. That's the biography I'm stuck with. And, Okay, at least I was really angry because when I was doing this, I ripped one of these.
Yeah.
But it didn't fall apart. It's coming back together. So
Okay.
I'm going to make this work.
Okay.
Thank you, Eddie. You can end.